try to cover quickly the presentation, although Saudi Arabia program is very, very complicated. So I will try to wrap up the presentation as quickly as possible because we are more interested in your problems and your questions. That most of the time you are taking the service, but you're not getting the right answers to your questions. So it's increasing your cost all the time. So we are here to save your cost and time. Okay. Allow me to introduce my colleague from Saudi Arabia, Mr. Hamoud Rahman. He came along with me. He stayed in China. I think he better introduced by himself. Okay. 大家好。
OK， 大家好，大家好。我们很高兴来中国。就是我就给你们很小的句话，我和 Mr. Norman 来在沙特阿拉伯就为你们，我们很高兴你们来这个 TUV Rheinland Seminar， 谢谢你们。
大家好，我这边是 TUV 莱茵市场进入，主要负责中东国家的 Victor， 相信台下有些公司都和我平时都有所打交道，包括在一些出证啊，包括一些验货的事宜上，也希望大家能够多多提问，然后我们这边的专家都会给大家做一个完美的答复。如果有答不出的地方，我们也会尽量做最后的询问。非常感谢大家。
So let's start with our topics for today. We have some small introduction to Saudi Arabia market for those who are new to this market. Okay. Then we have services, COC in particular. Okay. Then we have for those who are interested in the telecom products, then it's CITC approval. Then we have SASO ER, energy efficiency for white goods. Okay. Then we have some background on why you should choose TUV Rheinland for your services. So some useful references of some governmental websites. So the topic itself are very much in detail. Of course, we cannot cover all the topics in detail. So I will be giving you guys more time for question and answers so that you can clarify your individual questions in the tea break or when we finish the presentation. So Saudi Arabia itself, population around 29 million, about 21% expatriates. It holds largest reserves of petroleum in the world, 25% of the proven reserves in the world. Then relatively high purchasing power with GDP per capita of around $25,000. Biggest market and largest economy in the Middle East. Major cities: Riyadh, Jeddah, Dammam, Medina and Makkah. Most of the exporters are exporting in these two locations to Saudi Arabia because these have like seaports. Okay. Then we have major exports, petroleum-related products from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is not a manufacturing country, so most of their products are petroleum products. So major export partners, of course, China, number one. Most of the products in Saudi Arabia are coming from China and other locations, but China is, of course, the number one. Then major imports, machinery and equipment, foodstuff, chemicals, motor vehicles, textiles. I mean, we did not mention all the products. They are importing almost all the products from China. Okay, so import partners are China, USA, Germany, Japan, Italy, and so many other countries. So services for today that we will be focusing on for today will be the three major services. Of course, the first one is the most interesting one, and everyone wants to know about the certificate of conformity. Recently, there are so many changes in the regulation. We will be discussing this in our presentation because a lot of exporters and manufacturers doesn't have complete information that how to apply exactly for the certificate of conformity. So then we have for white goods, those who are interested in energy efficiency. then some explanation on type approval, the CITC telecom products approval in Saudi Arabia. So, the SASO is the main authority who is controlling this program in Saudi Arabia for certificate of conformity. Recently, they signed the agreement with a lot of companies, including TUV Rheinland Group, and only those companies are allowed to issue the certificate of conformity. Sometimes what happens is that also fake certificates are coming in the market and customs now verifying these certificates. Okay, so only there are few companies who have agreement with SASO and they can only issue the certificate of conformity based on this agreement. Okay, so COC can be issued by an organization which is recognized by SASO as a conformity assessment body. So if they capture any fake certificate, I mean Saudi Customs has access to our system to verify the certificate. And if they found any fake certificate, they contact us and they send us the copy of the certificate and they ask that, okay, this is your certificate or it's a fake certificate. So if they catch any fake certificate, the importer is in a problem and that manufacturer is also blacklisted in the market. So yeah.
Norman, I will translate. And 大家都知道，进入沙特市场必须要有合格的 COC， 但市场上确实存在着一些没有经过沙特授权而签发 COC 的情况，甚至有假冒的 COC。如果被沙特政府查到有假冒的 COC 或者是伪造的 COC 的话，会被列入黑名单，包括所有的制造商、进口商都会受到沙特强制的抽查。所以，请大家选择经过沙特授权的 COC 发展单位，否则会引起不必要的麻烦。You can continue.
Okay, thank you. So, some background on SASO now. Of course, one of the most important authority is Saudi Customs, who is verifying this certificate on behalf of SASO. So, let's summarize quickly our points that if shipment comes with COC and if shipment comes without COC, what can happen in the customs? So, of course, this certificate of conformity now recently is a mandatory requirement to accompany with every shipment. If you are sending this shipment without COC, you are giving 100% chance to customs to take the sample. And it will go for random sampling, random testing. And if it failed, then the shipment will be returned. Yeah.
I have to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I will translate.
Yeah.
哈斯先生的意思就是，如果说你在没有 COC 的情况下进入沙特海关的话，你有100%的概率被抽到进行测试。而如大家在上面所看到的一样，如果说当地都没有相应的实验室可以进行测试的话，货物将会被退回，那造成的损失也是相当巨大的。所以建议大家就是在持有 COC 而且进行相应的测试，这样可以进行就是避免很多的麻烦。You can continue.
Okay, thank you. So it's very important to have this certificate of conformity with the shipment, and still customs can take a random sample because they want to have a check and balance on us and the exporter, that how if the goods are complying to the requirements or not, and if the product failed in Saudi Arabia, then they will ask the importer to return back the shipment. Okay, so choosing TUV is like a guarantee for you that, okay, that you are in the right hands and you are choosing the right company to decide about your product, whether they are complying or not. Because some companies in the market, what they are doing, you just give them the invoice and they are issuing the certificate. So we are not doing like that. So we are verifying the products and then we are issuing the certificate. So this how TUV Rheinland is different from other companies. I think you can explain also.
哈森先生的意思是说，我们 TUV 莱茵是一个非常正规的机构，也并不是像那些你给了发票就直接给你 COC 的机构。我们会让大家按照沙特的法 法规进行的。就如同 PPT 上所说的那样，即使你有了 COC， 沙特海关仍然保有随机抽查的权利。如果说发现有不符合的情况，仍然会遭到强制性的检验，甚至上黑名单的情况。
Okay, thank you. So, some quick discussion on what type of products are covered in this certificate of conformity, SASO certificate. So, of course, it's so many products. SASO did not define in detail what kind of those products are, but after our meetings with SASO and Customs, they just explain us that these products are excluded from the program. Remaining products are covered in the COC program.
沙特官方在这里并没有规定哪些产品是在沙特管制范围之内，但它规定了就哪些产品是不在范围之内的。除了那些不在范围之内的，其他所有都是在范围之内的。
Okay, thank you. So these kind of products, these products basically are defined by SASO as high-risk products for which there is mandatory testing requirements and mandatory inspection also. I mean, SASO is Saudi authorities are very strict to these products. So if you are exporting these products to Saudi Arabia, you have to be very, very careful. Okay. So of course you can approach to Rheinland office and they can guide you for the requirements. Yes.
I have to translate.
Yeah.
以上所列的是沙特最新的要求，关于高风险的货物。如上大家都可以看到，所有高风险的货物必须进行相应的测试，而大家在上面看到的汽车轮胎和儿童玩具则需要另外的 GSO 的认证。这一些对于沙特海关来说是非常重要的产品，请大家千万注意。
Okay, thank you. So, high-risk products, of course, they are requiring sealing and stamping of every shipment almost. So, this is also a very new requirement. Before, this was not the case. Now, these kind of products are requiring sealing and stamping also.
I will translate.
Yeah.
这些产品这些高风险的产品，每一批都需要检验，而且它们都是需要封箱的。这个是沙特最新的要求，即验好货以后必须有相应的封箱的证据，也就是这些货物不能够再被改动，因为是最新的要求，请大家务必注意。
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks. So, following are the requirements when you have a product or shipment ready for the certification. What documents we are requiring from our clients are those documents. So, safety test report, technical specification, user manual, photo documentation and rating label, any other supporting document, work business license. Of course, this is a new requirement. Before, they were not asking for this, but now they are very much concerned on the fake products. So, this requirement they introduce as a new requirement.
I will translate.
Yeah.
沙特政府这里最新的要求是关于营业执照，因为在之前并没有提出营业执照。然后营业执照在中国大陆一般营业执照都是中文的，也就是意味着需要翻译成相应的英语，像英语以便沙特政府能够清楚地看到您的营业资质，这也是最新的要求。
Okay, so basically when you approach to any Rheinland office, of course you have a lot of products and you cannot maybe test all those products in one attempt. So we will help you, we will study your case and we will then decide the solution that what products we want to select for the testing, because now Saudi Customs is specifically checking inside each certificate if the test report is attached or not. So it's very important requirement.
I will translate. 由于大家出口的货物众多，然后我们 TUV 莱茵公司会从中选取一些产品进行测试，而不是所有的产品进行测试。这也是为了提高大家的产品的竞争能力。
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks. So in previous slide we discussed about when you have products and you want to apply for certification. Now this is the requirement when your shipment is ready for sending to Saudi Arabia. So what documents we are requiring at the time of certification? Okay, so when you are applying to us, you have to apply with the test report and all this in the previous slide at least 10-15 days before. But when you have shipment ready, then we need these documents.
哈森的意思是说，这些文件都是非常需要的，尤其是在最后出证之前。
So these documents are required when the shipment is ready to export to Saudi Arabia.
所以说，当这些货物出口到沙特的时候，这所有的文件都是需要的。
So it's very important that all the documents must be signed and stamped.
所以这些文件必须签字和盖章，这是很重要的，是最新的要求。
Okay, thanks.
需要的是公司盖章，公司的盖章。
Okay. So we have so many solutions for your cases because you are not only exporting to Saudi Arabia, maybe you are exporting to other countries also. So we understand that. So requirements for all kind of products are flexible, especially for electrical products. That if you have, first of all, the highest priority would be that if you have SASO standard, no problem. If you don't have, no problem. It can be GSO, it can be ICEA, ASTIC standards, it can be national standards. It can be, for example, if there is no international standard or national standard for your product, then manufacturer specifications as an exceptional case is also acceptable. So, for example, if you have one TV product, so it is tested according to IEC or EN standard. So 90% of its testing is acceptable for Saudi Arabia. 10% should be the national deviation requirement like voltage, frequency, these kind of requirements.
I will translate. 哈森先生的意思是说，由于大家现在所谓的多国认证的概念越来越普遍，所以需要一个报告进行多国的认证。TUV 莱茵在这里为大家提供了很多的选择，您也可以按照沙特自己的标准进行测试，当然也可以按照 IEC 的标准测试，甚至在特殊的情况下，您也可以根据厂商的规格书进行测试，这一些都是可以的。但是请大家注意，如果不是按照沙特标准进行测试的话，在测试报告中大家必须体现到沙特的特殊偏差。包括像电压频率，尤其是电压频率，这两点是非常重要的。因为我在大家提交的报告中发现没有按照沙特的电压进行测试的，或者是沙特的频率是60赫兹，然后没有按照60赫兹，只按照50赫兹进行测试的，这一些希望大家引起注意。
Yeah, okay, thank you. So basically, TUV Rheinland has a solution to your problem for the testing. So if you apply for testing, we accept this test report for let's say SASO. When we talk SASO in meeting, they were saying that you have to test every shipment. So it was difficult. So we explained them that globally it's not the case. The CV certification and all the other countries, I mean all the other programs are talking about 3 years test report. So we accept this test report within the 1 year frame time.
由于目前有一些第三方机构说每一批次出货都要进行测试，我们 TUV 莱茵在这里为大家提供方便，也向沙特进行解释，所以我们可以在1年内的报告用于多次的出货。因为最近市场上是有一些机构说每一批都要进行测试，那这样也相当的麻烦。我司也向沙特政府解释了关于 CB 体系的问题。
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So, some background on the laboratory selection, that test report cannot be all the time manufactured test report. If the third party accredited laboratory for your product, now this is very important. If a third party accredited laboratory for your product is available in China or in other location, so the product must be tested from that laboratory. If your product doesn't have the third party accredited laboratory, then exceptionally Saudi authorities accept the manufacturer test report?
我们在这里要强调的是，并不是所有的测试报告都能被接受的，所有的测试报告都必须在其范围之内。如在中国比较普遍的是 CNAS， 包括一些相关的认证。如果说这个实验报告，这个实验室出了超过它能力的报告，这个是不可被接受的，请大家注意，这些报告也是无效的。Yes,
okay, thank
you
you.
can continue.
Yeah. So some overview on shipment inspection requirement, that depending on your shipment packaging, the inspection requirement is applicable accordingly. So for C shipment, full container load and S container load, LCL and FCL, if it's an air shipment, then it's pallet carton boxes and accordingly. And then if you have a road shipment, of course maybe from China there will be no road shipments, only maybe these two kind of shipments. So this kind of inspection tape and stamping is applicable. Okay.
对于大家来说，从中国大陆出口到沙特的话，陆路运输也是非常罕见的，所以大家一般接触到的都是海运，然后在一些客人催单的情况下，可能会接触到空运。这一些是解释了我们根据沙特的高风险要求所进行封装的一些具体细节，包括是不是整箱货呀，是不是拼箱的这些不同的方式。
Okay, thank you. So just one important point here in the first 2 points, these two. So for high-risk products, SASO insisted to have inspection. Every shipment must be inspected. Okay. For low-risk products, other than high-risk products, they accept the inspection report within 3 months' time, according to IFIA rule. Okay.
Yes. 对于高风险的货物，沙特政府目前仍坚持每一票货都要进行所谓的验货工作，而对于那些非高风险的话，则可以接受最少1季度1次的验货，也就大家在1季度之中，在第一次出货时进行验货，然后第二次就可以不进行不进行验货的工作。
So some quick overview, what is the overall process of shipment certification that you as a client apply for the shipment certification? We review these documents. We see that if your product has already the test report, we will not ask you for further testing. Okay? If of course your product is not tested, then you have to make investment one time, maybe for 1 year, that you test your product and make yourself qualified for the Saudi Arabia requirements. Then we do, of course, the inspection process, and then we issue the certificate.
以下哈森先生为大家解释了我们 COC 也就是符合性证书的发证流程。从当中大家可以看到有测试的部分，当然从大中华区的一般情况来说，测试报告都是可以大家都事先提供给我司的，也就不用进行这样一个测试工作，因为测试也是非常耽误时间的。
Okay, thanks. So with that, we are finished with the, of course, the certificate of conformity topic. Basically, in this presentation, we try to give you very general overview. Of course, we understand that you have different products of different nature, and you might have specific questions. So I will appreciate if after this presentation, when we have a coffee break, you ask your specific questions, that what problems you are facing when you are shipping to Saudi Arabia, what your importer is complaining, and what requirement or regulation is not clear.
我们这里介绍的也只是沙特出口的一些通常性的问题，当然我们非常欢迎大家在茶歇的时候向我们提问，就提问一些进入沙特市场您这边遇到了什么样的困难、什么样的麻烦，那我们这边也会尽力给您提出我们专业的意见，以帮助大家更好的出口到沙特。 Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now we are switching our topic to the telecom approval for those who have telecom products to Saudi Arabia. So we are offering this service to our clients also. So for telecom products, let me give you some background that telecom products are requiring two approvals when you are shipping to Saudi Arabia. So you are not only requiring COC, you are requiring also certificate issued by this authority. Okay.
通讯类产品，大家千万要记得，它不只是一个认证，除了常规的 COC 认证以外，必须获得相应的沙特的无线认证，也就是这个机构叫做 CITC。
So when you apply for this approval is valid for 1 year. You can use this certificate for 1 year when you're shipping to Saudi Arabia, and then after completing 1 year, you have to apply for renewal.
该认证的有效期是1年，在1年当中大家可以反复使用，然后1年过了以后，大家必须重新进行申请。Yes.
Okay. Thanks. So, in order to import any telecommunication and IT equipment, CITC should be obtained. Okay. And of course, there are different products having different bandwidths and frequencies. So there is a specific CITC specification criteria which you have to ensure. So when you approach TUV Rheinland office for checking about your product, that your product with certain frequency or certain specification is allowed to export to Saudi Arabia or not. So we are not only helping you to get this certificate from CITC, we are also guiding you if your product needs any modification or any adjustment, we are giving you complete guidance.
OK， 在这里我们 TUV 莱茵给大家提供的并不仅仅是获得证书这么简单，我们也会提供给大家包括沙特的一些允许的频率，以便指导大家更好的在产品中符合沙特的要求。
Okay, so when you apply for this approval, of course, there is some responsibility that CITC wants you to declare. So, of course, there are some documentation requirements. One of the important requirements is, of course, that you declare all these points, that your product doesn't have any defect or it's compliant to Saudi Arabia requirements. So there are some specific declarations that you have to declare about your product.
CITC 希望大家在申请通讯认证之前，必须承诺以上所有的内容，这是非常重要的，因为这也会牵涉到后续的监管问题。Yes.
Okay. So one quick question from the audience: that how many of you are already selling telecom products to Saudi Arabia? Can you please also?
在此哈森先生想向大家提问，在座的各位有多少已经出口了通讯类产品到沙特呢？哈森先生想向大家提问，在座的各位有多少已经出口了通讯类产品到沙特呢？ You can raise your hand.
Nobody? Only you? Okay, so only you have only telecom products. Nobody else has telecom products?
大家台下没有出口
Okay, you have.
通讯产品的吗？
Okay, sure. Two. Okay. So, two. Okay. So, you can ask your questions in particular if you have any questions after the presentation also, of course, because you might have maybe specific question. Okay.
如果大家在会后有问题的话，可以单独向哈森先生提问。
Okay. So some quick overview on what kind of products are covered under this program. So this also can be checked from the CITC website, but also, I mean, we just mentioned here the quick summary that these kind of products are mandatory requiring the telecom approval, the CITC approval.
我们会很快的给大家浏览一下哪些产品是受到 CITC 管制的。当然，大家在 CITC 网站上也可以看到对应的产品包和对应的要求。Yes.
Okay. So if you want to apply for telecom approval with TUV Rheinland, so what documents we are requiring from you in order to get this approval from CITC? So let's have a quick look on these documents. So these documents we are requiring from you when we want to get this approval from CITC. Okay.
这些是大家向 TUV 莱茵申请 CITC 认证所需要的文件。
Okay.
Yes.
So some quick overview on the applicable standards of safety, EMC, and radio. So basically, this requirement you are already fulfilling when you are applying for COC. But when you are applying for telecom approval, you are requiring these three. So maybe relevant standard to your product may be not listed here, but when you contact TUV Rheinland office Shanghai, so they can guide you that what standard is applicable for your product.
大家可以看到，在大家申请 COC 的时候，安规报告大家肯定是会提供的。当然 EMC 和无线的报告大家可能都没有需要准备。当然，这上面只是举例的一些标准。如果上面没有举例的话，大家可以向 TUV 莱茵上海进行询问，就您的产品需要符合哪一些的标准，包括一些新技术，包括所谓的4G技术。
Okay. So, lead time about CITC. Now, this is very tricky. Sometimes CITC is issuing the approval within very short time, but normally when they have a lot of applications with them for review, so they can roughly take like 4 to 6 weeks time. Sometimes it's early also.
CITC 也是一个很有意思的机构，就有时候他们如果工作负担并不是这么重的时候，他们可能很快就能够完成这个认证。当然，4到6周指的是他们收到了很多的案子，需要很多的时间进行处理。
Okay, so very important is that whether you're applying for COC, whether you're applying for CITC or any approval with TUV Rheinland, please give good time, decent time to us to review and give you the guidance, because most of the manufacturers and exporters are applying for certification when their shipment is ready. So it's very important to understand the requirements first, that what is applicable requirement for your product, and give at least 15-20 days, month time depending on the approval. For example, the CITC approval takes time, but COC can be applied in 10-15 days, for example. So give good time to TUV Rheinland to give you this certification on time. So most of the time it happens that product reaches to Saudi Arabia, shipment reaches to Saudi Arabia, and you don't have COC, you don't have CITC. So apply in advance.
请大家注意，在出口沙特之前，请预留足够的时间给我司进行相关的操作，包括通讯认证和 COC， 因为当中可能会涉及到一些技术审核的问题，也预留了一些整改的时间。Yes.
Okay, thank you. So like I mentioned that this lead time can always adjust. Sometimes it's very, very quick, and sometimes it's 4 to 6 weeks time.
哈特先生向大家解释是这个周期可能会有很大的变化，有时真的是很快很快，当然有时会非常的缓慢。Yes.
Thanks. So some quick process diagram that how we get this. How you can apply that. You prepare the documents and then TUV Rheinland look into your product and then decide that what testing is applicable, or maybe you already have the documents. So they prepare all this application, they submit it to us, and then we apply for this approval, okay, with CITC, and then in of course 4 to 6 weeks time, or maybe 2 to 4 weeks time, we give this approval to you. in that certain time frame.
请大家细细的查看其中的流程，然后的话，如果说大家能按照流程来的话，我们就可以尽快的给大家签发出证书，也谢谢大家的配合。Yes.
Okay, thank you. So that's all we have for the telecom approval, and then now we are coming to our last topic of the day for Saudi Arabia program. That is energy efficiency for those who are exporting white goods to Saudi Arabia. So again, the same question I have, that who are selling washing machine, refrigerator, and air conditioners to Saudi Arabia? Can I have a
现在我们已经跨过了通讯认证，然后我们到了能效认证。哈特先生还想问同样的问题：台下有多少人是出口白色家电，也就是空调、洗衣机和冰箱，然后到了沙特阿拉伯？请大家举一下手。
1, 2, 3, 3, right? Okay, 3. So again, I will give you full time to ask your specific question if you have after the presentation on efficiency, that what problems you're facing. Of course, I will be covering the requirements here, that what are the new requirements by SASO. Then accordingly, you can ask your questions.
哈门先生会给大家4次时间，就是在他讲解当中，大家可以打断他，然后提出一些具体的问题，因为沙特能效最近的变化也非常大。Yes.
Okay, thank you. So before I go into the detail of this program, let me tell you that in last 1-2 years, there were so many changes in this program by SASO. So what happened is that Saudi Arabia is a rich oil country, but still they have energy crisis. So they realized that 70% of their energy efficiency is consumed by air conditioners.
沙特是一个能源非常富饶的国家，但是沙特在最近1-2年当中也遇到了能源危机，而沙特意识到他们大部分能源都是消耗在空调上面。
So before, the requirements were simple. They were accepting all the, for example, ISO standard or the national standard, but maybe they have some pressure they received from the electricity authority, and then SASO decided that they make some committee in emergency, and then they announce the SASO standards and their requirements and all these star ratings.
在之前的话，沙特政府是接受所有的能效测试的标准，包括 IEC、EN 的标准，但是由于沙特政府的压力，目前沙特只接受沙特自己的标准。
So most of you, if you are the 3 participants, maybe you are already exporting your products to Saudi Arabia. So I'm sure that your importer would be asking you a lot of changes in the product and the requirements. So after finishing this presentation, also I will, just before when I was coming to China, there was a new requirement by SASO on energy efficiency, that what they are saying is, now please, this is very, very important, that the certificate that you have already for energy efficiency, you have to resubmit it to SASO for review, so that SASO can see if it's according to ISO standard or any previous standard. They will cancel that license and they will not accept it.
在哈森先生来之前，又有一个重磅消息向大家宣布了，因为目前大家现有申请的沙特能效证书必须给沙特政府进行重新的 review， 让其中看一下是否有按照沙特的要求进行测试。
So this is a very, very new requirement. Just one or 2 weeks before, when I was coming to China, they just announced this new requirement. So it means, what is the summary? Summary is that all those manufacturers, even though they have the certificate valid for, let's say, March 2015, but still they have to resubmit the application to SASO for review, because they want all the manufacturers now to apply according to SASO standards.
即使大家是有沙特能效证书的话，沙特政府目前也需要大家重新提交您的能效证书给沙特政府进行 review。 判断它是否符合了最新沙特的标准。
Okay. So before manufacturers were printing this label without waiting for getting the certificate, and now you can imagine that SASO became so strict that when they issue this approval, this label is available on their website for printing with the QR code. So it means that you cannot put your label. You have to put SASO approved label.
I will translate. 之前的话，沙特管制比较松，大家可以先把这个能效标签给印上去。但是目前的话，沙特采用了 QR 码，也就是二维扫描码，这是由沙特所颁布的，所以大家不能事先把这些码给印上去。Yes.
Okay, thank you. So these kind of products are requiring mandatory energy efficiency approval. So you can note down that if your product is coming under the scope of these requirements, so then you are requiring SASO ER label approval.
这一些是沙特能效认证产品的一些范围，大家请看清楚上面关于一些东西限制，包括制冷量啊、容积这一些比较重要的信息。Yes.
Okay, thank you. Fine. So now this is very recent updated standards. There were, since SASO announced these standards, 2 to 3 times they made amendments and they update these standards. So you can note down, of course you have the presentation copy, but these are the standards which are now applicable for energy efficiency for your product. So for air conditioner, refrigerator, and washing machine.
大家可以看到，沙特目前的能效标准变化也非常快，而且版本更新的也很快，请大家要注意。Yes.
Okay. Thanks. So SASO announced officially the issuance of new standards, like I mentioned before. Now, so these standards, there will be no ISO standard anymore.
沙特目前宣布了最新标准，所以之前所谓的 ISO 标准将
ISO or any other standard.
ISO 和其他标准将不复存在，只有沙特的标准 SASO standard。
Okay. So already you see that this date is started. So the previous standard of 2007 will not be valid. Now there will be new standard.
大家可以看到，就在这个月，沙特老标准，也就是2007年的标准，将不再能够采用，而必须要用最新的2013年的标准。Yes.
Okay. So some quick summary of those changes or the changes in the regulation that application prepared according to the old standard will not be acceptable after this date. So this date is already crossed. Okay. So I think let me give you 1 minute to understand. If you don't understand any point or any of these points, so please ask me the question. No problem. Okay.
目前请大家看一下这一些内容是否有什么问题，给大家1分钟时间。如果有任何的问题，请大家进行提问。谢谢。
So it's basically mentioning that some dates specifically where SASO will be doing the surveillance, and from this date the product will not be allowed. So I think you can keep this for your records that you have to consider these dates when you are selling the product to Saudi Arabia.
请大家也可以记一下这一些沙特政府进行监管的时间，因为这些节点非常重要。
Okay, thanks. So following documents we are requiring when we are applying your certificate with SASO. So these are the documents that we are requiring from you that you submit to us. Okay.
这一些是进行沙特能效大家所需要的文件，请大家可以看一下。
So you see the test report requirement issued not older than 6 months. So SASO condition of testing is very, very strict. No 3 years, no 2 years, no 1 year, 6 months.
请大家注意，沙特对于测试报告的年限要求非常紧， 不是2年，也不是1年，而只是6个月。Yes.
Thanks. So basically, TUV Rheinland has the laboratory according to 17025. We have a good network of energy efficiency laboratories in China. So regarding your product, if you have energy efficiency requirement, please contact China office of Shanghai, Guangzhou, and which locations we have. I mean, we have in all these locations. Can you please explain?
TUV 莱茵是一个资质非常齐全的公司，大家也可以根据相应不同的地点，甚至像广州、青岛各地都可以去申请相应的沙特能效测试。Yes.
Okay, thanks. So once your documents are complete, we can apply this approval within 48 hours. Okay, so now this is very important that when you submit the documents as a client, there is impression that okay, lead time starts. It's not the time of that you count down the time that okay, time starts. Time starts when your documents are complete.
哈特先生在这边指出的是，由于中国大陆大家的时间都比较紧，而我们这里所定义的提交时间是所有的文件齐全。
So when you submit the document, sometimes it happens that the license is not updated, the test report is old, the picture is missing. So these are the problems that we face when we review the application.
经常会碰到一些测试报告不全、缺少照片、缺少相应文件的情况，这也让我们非常困扰。
Okay, thank you. So before I remember for all those manufacturers, I understand your problem that you face. You received this approval in 3-4 months at that time, but now Saso has a good team, and they are issuing this approval very quickly.
之前大家都会遇到沙特能效认证要耗时3到5个月，如今沙特承诺我们说他们用了最新的系统，可以简化审批的流程。Yes.
Okay, good. So if you apply this to TUV Rheinland, we have good working relations with Saso. We will try our best to give you this approval as quickly as possible.
如今的话，我们 TUV 莱茵也和沙特有长久良好的关系，也可以使大家尽快的拿到相应的认证。Yes.
Okay. So generally approval is taking 3 to 4 weeks time. If Saso has less applications, this can also be done even less time than this.
哈特先生在这里解释，也诸如先前 CITC 那样，如果说沙特这边案子并不是那么多的话，那时间可能会更短。
Okay.
Yes.
So more or less the same process that you apply for the documents. Our office in China, in Shanghai, they review the documents, they submit this to us. We review this application also, and then we submit to Saso, and then you receive the certificate.
以下哈斯先生展示的是我们一个内部工作流程，是交给上海办公室，然后上海办公室再交给阿拉伯办公室。Yes.
Okay. So why you should choose TUV Rheinland? Of course, there are many reasons, but we try to mention all these reasons that how we are different than our competitors.
选择 TUV 莱茵的理由有很多，但我们这里也想展示出我们所有的优势，也为大家进行服务。Yes.
Okay, so we have simple and convenient procedures. We try to make your life simple.
我们有简单的流程，也使大家的生活更加简单。
Okay. Then, of course, we as a service provider, we are bound to give you good service. So we are not willing to make you one-time customer. We want to have a long-term relationship with you.
哈特先生引用了中国一句名言，就是不是只做一时的客户，而要作为回头客。引用了中国的一句话。Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we have all the necessary qualifications by SASO, by CNAS, by all the accreditation authorities. We have all the qualifications. You can trust TUV.
我们有很多的资质，包括 CNAS 资质，包括 SASO 资质，大家可以信任我们，并交付给我们贵司的货物。 Yes.
So we have, of course, the professional staff for handling the projects. We have testing experts. We have certification experts. We have government relation experts. So with all this capability, you can trust TUV that how each stage we are caring for your projects.
我们有各式各样的专家，包括认证专家、测试专家，有各方面的专家为大家提供专业的服务。Yes.
Okay, thanks. So we have, compared to other competitors, not so many competitors have local labs in Saudi Arabia. So we have for electrical products and even for, I'm sure auto parts here, but electrical products we have lab in Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Customs is submitting the samples to us for testing. They trust our testing.
如大家所看到的那样，沙特政府非常信任我们，而且也委托我们进行沙特地区的海关抽检，所以我们在阿拉伯是有相应的测试实验室，也是这一点也是在竞争对手当中是非常罕见的。Yes.
So we have good relations with SASO, Minister of Commerce, Saudi Customs.
我们和沙特有很好的关系，也相信能够帮到大家。
Let me give you an example why I'm saying we have good relation, because for the future requirements, TUV Rheinland is the only company where we are giving the training to their staff. We are sending them to Germany, Japan, and other locations to understand the China requirement, Japan requirement, so that they can make the same process as in China.
可以给大家透露一下，今后沙特所谓的 SASO 的人员培养都会由我们 TUV 莱茵来进行，包括可以送他们到德国、送他们到中国来进行相应的认证的培训，所以相信我们今后的关系会非常的好。Yes.
Yes. So we have full-time representative in 22 ports of Saudi Arabia. If your shipment stuck at the port, your importer make a one phone call to us, and we will solve this problem.
我们当地港口我们在每个港口都有相应的人员。如果说您的货物受阻的话，只要一个电话，我们就会帮您排除这个问题。Yes.
Okay. So we understand that many times it happens that your shipment stuck at the port and you don't have any solution to that. So TUV Rheinland react in hours, not days. Okay.
大家经常会碰到货物被卡、手足无措的情况，请相信我们 TUV 莱茵。
So one more thing is that most of the clients, I mean most of the service providers, I'm talking about the competitors, of course. You just go to them, they give you the service just by when you pay them, they give you the service. They don't give you government information. They don't give you updated information, what is changing in the market. They just try to make money from you. Okay, we don't go in this way. We understand your problem and we want to work with you for long term. So that's why we will not give you that solution which is expensive for you. That okay, for example, if you have 10 products, maybe if you go to competitor, they will say we want to test all 10 products. We will not go this way. Maybe we will say that maybe we need one product to be tested, and that would be enough.
我们不像我们很多竞争对手那样只做一锤子买卖，也就是有10个产品，它都要你10个产品进行测试。我们会了解您的需求，从中挑选出需要测试的产品，而不仅仅是为了赚一些测试费，而影响当中的关系。正如我们所说一样，我们追求的是回头客，而不是一锤子的买卖。
Okay, so we have the only strong office compared to our competitors in Saudi Arabia, where we have sales team, we have technical support team, we have customer support team, we have government relation team. No other competitors working so strongly in Saudi Arabia.
我们在沙特的话是有一个完整的体系，包括技术和客服以及相关的人员，这在所有竞争对手当中都是不具备的。可能有些竞争对手在当地只是有一个 office 而已。Yes.
Good. So we have one-stop service, of course, which means that one test report we make for you for your one product, And with that one test report, you can sell your product to maybe 15, 20, 25 countries, okay, without any problems.
So Mr. Hammond want to add that sorry. 在此的话，哈姆先生想介绍的是，我们相对于我们的竞争对手，包括必维和天翔以及 SGS， 大家比较常用的这3家机构，我们的优势在于，还有一家比较小的叫做 Cotecna 的机构，我们的优势在于我们更加的快捷，包括大家也可以感受到，在验货的流程当中，我们的验货流程是更加的简单。对，我们提供的是更快、更好的服务，而不仅仅是我们有更好的一些部门协作，包括我们的验货部门和我们的出证部门。Yes.
I did not understand.
I will translate.
Okay, thank you. So that's all from our side. Thank you very much. This is some quick websites for you that if you have any specific inquiries, you want to go about the information requirement, news and regulations, you can always go into these websites, SASO, Ministry of Commerce, World Trade Organization, GSO website, and then of course for telecom approvals you can go to CITC website. Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. I would like to emphasize on your questions, which are very, very important. That I'm working on Saudi Arabia program for the last 7-8 years, and it's a good chance for you to take out all my knowledge and secrets of this program. Because we are sitting in Saudi Arabia, and we know the requirements, of course, in deep and the way you want. So I would appreciate your questions in the coffee break. So did you understand?
我们这边给大家提供了10分钟的Q&A 环节，也就是提问和解答的环节。当然，大家有不尽兴的地方，也可以在茶歇向哈森先生进行提问。现在大家可以提问。
So it's best chance to get all the secrets from me.
这是一个
all the secrets.
这是大家了解哈森先生的一个很好的机会，可以提所有的问题都没有问题。
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Presentation regarding the CITC product and feature of text and double land. So I wonder it's in the scope of CITC certificate.
Wireless then?
Wireless, Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi and text.
Yeah, it's required. It's required. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you just mentioned, we need to renew the certificate every year, right?
The type approval, CITC approval certificate, you need to renew every year. COC is required with every shipment. CITC is required every year.
Every year, okay.
Yeah, but it will be used in the customs.
Yeah, how to renew the certificate? Just do some tests or just the paperwork?
Good question. COC testing requirement, the testing is required more quickly. I mean, after, let's say, 1 year.
So I want to interrupt your question. I will translate. 刚才哈森先生想指的是就关于一些证书的有效期的问题，包括通讯认证是1年 ，COC 证书是每一次出货，包括能效证书是1年。在此想重申这一点。Yes.
So renewal requirements are same. Even the test report, if it's 2 years old or 3 years old, still it's okay for CITC only, not for COC.
Okay, I will translate. 对于更新流程的话，其实和申请新的证书是一样的，也需要提交相关的文件，然后进行一些证明是否符合相关的要求。Yes.
Okay. So any other question on the COC requirement? Yes.
请大家。
是
So we will refer to the on the valid time of the SASO EER.
The lead time for SASO. It's 1 year. The lead time itself for the certificate is 1 year.
No. He wants to know the deadline time. As you see the PPT, it's February of the next year. Is it for all the certificates?
Yes, the problem is now that SASO is having problem in the existing certificates. They are not accepting it. What they are saying is that we want to review all the applications which were approved before. So please resubmit us the documents to see if your approval is issued on the updated requirements, on the updated SASO standards, we will continue your approval. We will not cancel it. But if it's, for example, if your certificate is issued on the ISO standard, okay, your approval is issued on the ISO standard, so they will not accept it.
这个问题的话是根据所谓的时间是根据证书的有效生效日期，然后其中分为2块，一块就是大家是否按照了沙特最新的标准去申请这个证书。如果是这样的话，那有效期还是1年；如果说大家是按照旧标准去申请证书的话，那有效期就只能截止到2015年2月。
So this is a 1 week before email announcement from SASO. I think you can give her the copy if you ask her to contact you after the presentation and give the copy of this email. It's explaining all changes that why SASO needs this again.
Can you send email to me and then I will
course,
transfer
yeah.
email to all the.
Yeah, this is a new energy efficiency requirement 1 week before.
哈森先生手上拿的是最新的要求，我也会要求哈森先生发个邮件给我，然后我转发给大家相应的最新的要求，关于沙特能效。
想问一下，就是我们的那个能效，就是刚刚已经出来了，就是那个旧的标准啊。如果到2015年2月28号那个不是要那个停止了，那个证书能够转换，重新操作。
Okay, so continue that problem. If the certificate just end at the February of next year, what should we do? Should we review or should we apply?
No, you should apply re-application with SASO to review this, and they will continue this approval. They will keep it valid. If the documents are fine, then they will accept this approval as it is. They will not accept their review. They will review by themselves. So they have to apply a new application.
哈梅先生的意思是说，他必须重新递交给沙特政府，由沙特政府去决定这个证书是否继续有效，是由他们做决定的，而不是由我们这边来做决定。
So now here the question comes that if they have these documents which are valid within 6 months, and if it's already on the SASO standards, there should not be any problem. But if it's according to ISO standard, then maybe they have to reapply for testing.
这里就出现了一个问题，如果说没有按照新标准去申请的话，仍然是一些 ISO 标准，那就会遇到问题，必须重新申请。
我们不是那个 ISO 标准，是那个SASO 2681那个2681、2682。
Oh, so she refers to the older standard for the refrigerator, for the SASO.
2007 maybe.
Yes.
Okay. This will not be acceptable. I mean, there is a date mentioned here in this, maybe one of the slides, that they will not accept this SASO standard. Yeah. Maybe this slide or, okay. Starting from August 2014, SASO 2664, 2007, and this will not be valid. So these standards are not acceptable from this month, just starting from this month. So already this month is started. Okay.
我们在这边重新强调的是，由于在8月份已经实施了新的标准，所以老的标准是不可接受的，必须按照新的标准进行。
Here.
比如说我们的证书啊，是在那个 经在5月份，举个例子，我们5月份拿到了一个证书，比如说6月份吧，最新6月份拿到一个证书，是按照老标准，2007年的老标准做的嘛，对吧？那按照它这里的话，比如说15年2月28号以后就是说这个不能用了嘛，是吧？那我现在就是说我这个按照老标准拿到证书，我在2015年2月8号之前是否可以去重新转换成新的证书，还是说我要重新去做这个证书？
Okay, so on the questions, we apply in the June of this year with the older standard. Can we transform to the new standard?
If they have to see, I mean, this test report. If it's they recently applied, they applied with Rheinland, or they, I mean, what is the test report background? I mean, we did the testing.
他这边是说是否真的进行了测试，是否向测试的实验室进行了咨询，就测试是否有涵盖到新的标准，还是怎么样？所以你们想问的是，我有旧的报告，然后我是否能通过补充报告的形式，然后更新到新的，而不是重新做实验，对吗？我可以回答你是无效的，然后我会问一下是否能通过追加测试的方式，而不是重新的再测一遍的方式。So they have tested according to the older standard. Now the new standard has applied. So should they test completely, or they just add some tests to the new standard?
Okay, it depends on, of course, the solution of course your. It's better that you submit the test report to us to see what are the changes. We will verify according to your product. We will verify what are the changes according to the new standard. Okay, if these changes, if we like he mentioned, that we can add some tests. Okay, and we can issue the new test report also. This is also possible. But if the changes are major in the product, then maybe we have to retest according to SASO 2013 version. Clear? Yeah.
这也是这样的，您可以把您相应的测试报告给我们，我们进行判断，2013和2017的标准到底差在哪里。如果说并不是本质性差异的话，我们可以通过追加测试；但如果是测试方法变化这一类很基本的，那就要进行重新测试。一切都是根据您的产品、具体的产品、具体的标准的变化，以及您当时测试实验室所做的一些测试。
So we will try to add only 2013 edition clauses. Maybe we will add some limited test. Maybe when they submit us the report, 70% of their testing will be fine. So maybe 30% we have to adjust the test report according to the new clauses.
Okay. 如同哈特先生所说的一样，可能70%的测试都已经是覆盖了，那大家只要做一点点测试就可以。这是大家最喜闻乐见的情况。当然也有。说因为测试的基本方法做改变，所以之前的结果可能不被承认的情况。Yes.
Okay.
请大家继续提问。
It's clear to him. Can you please ask him if he 100% understood the solution?
Okay. 哈特先生问您这边了解到我们这边的方法。是。So he understands.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
So your turn. So she want to continue to ask about the 25-page that the valid time does include air conditioner. So the February of next year, the valid time.
Basically, see, these changes are for all the products that they have to be tested according to SASO new standard. So we understand that manufacturers have this certificate already valid up to February maybe. But what basically Saso is saying is that they want voluntarily all manufacturers to reapply for this if they don't have updated Saso standard, because they have a pressure from Saudi ministry that enforce Saso standards, don't accept ISO or previous version of the standard. So testing according to the new standard is very, very important.
But her problem is that the air conditioner does not have change, does not have the new change. So if her test
according to the new standard.
Yes.
Okay, then there is no problem.
Okay.
There is new standard, then yeah.
如果说按照最新的标准进行测试的话，如同上面所列的最新标准进行测试的话，那是没有问题的。
If they have according to the new standard, then there should be no worry.
Okay, he wants to raise another question on the time, on the 6 months, the validity time, the 6 months before the test report and application. Could you yes.
How old is your test report?
海德先生想问您的报告是几几年 ？So it's still in the May of this year.
May of this year.
Yeah.
I think should be still valid. I guess. Yeah. It will be valid. No problem.
海德先生认为还是在有效。
So May, June, July, August, still it's within the time. So this test report is acceptable for Saso new application. No problem.
So he wants to ask if the test report is only valid for 6 months.
Yeah, it's valid for 6 months only. I mean, they accept Saso for energy efficiency. The ER test report, when manufacturer apply for application, it should be within the 6 months time frame. For energy efficiency, the rule is more strict.
沙特这一边的话是只接受6个月内。当然从我这一边的话，也可以和你说，您可以控制在6个月之内，就以您最后申请的和那个测试的时间，你可以把这个时间控制在6个月之内。
For safety and COC, we can accept for 1 year the test report, safety test report. But for energy efficiency, Saso is not accepting the application if it's more than 6 months old.
对于安徽和其他通讯的部分，这都是没有问题的。但是对于能效，只能接受6个月。当然，我建议您可以把您的申请时间和测试时间控制在6个月之内。申请和报告之间。效有的个，您这边报告必须是和申请日期之间的间距是6个月。对。当然您这边具体问题可以具体来说，关于这个报告的签发日期的问题，这个可以具体的商量。请大家继续提问。
Hello, Mr. Norman. Our company has one kind of product. It's a satellite, Inmarsat satellite terminal, and it has GPS function and also has, transfer and receive signals from Inmarsat satellite. So
okay.
Yeah, it's
high frequency or.
The frequency is about 1.6 gigahertz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's used for for setup in the truck and also in some ships for tracking your products.
Okay.
Throughout software in your computer. So I want to know what kind of specification we need for this kind of product.
You're selling your product already in Saudi Arabia, or your first time you're thinking?
I think we first time. And I thought that except for Type Global, we also maybe need some landing rights license. We want if you need to use an Inmarsat satellite service in Saudi Arabia, you may need get that approved.
Okay, you are selling this to any specific importer, or this your product is going for some specific project of the government?
We just manufacture these kind of products and sell to our customer in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, it's an importer, and he will sell this product in Saudi Arabia also.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not. My question is that it's not indoor. It's not for government agency. Or it's not for governmental project, right?
No, it's not used indoor.
Okay,
Yeah.
then you are requiring, of course, telecom approval. I mean the CITC, which we mentioned in the presentation, and of course you are also requiring COC.
Okay, both COC and CITC.
Both. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there needed? I mentioned the landing rights license. Yeah.
Basically, if you have CITC approval, you are already qualified. There should not be an additional landing rights. Landing rights are for, why I ask you this question of the government, because the landing rights or special permission is only required for those which, if you are sending your product for the government authorities. Okay, if you are sending it to some importer, and if you have CITC and COC, I don't think you are requiring any other approval.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
我来向大家翻译一下，最主要是刚才这位先生提到的是一种特殊的认证，可能我猜测是政府采购当中所需要的认证，这并不是沙特通用的认证，而是仅仅为了一个政府招标的项目所设立的认证。而基本的通讯类产品认证无非是两种，就是 COC 和通讯认证。当然，对于刚才这位先生提到这个产品，我们也会进行相应的查询，包括它需要哪一些的测试，包括 Safety 和 EMC， 甚至是 SAP， 也就是所谓的对于头部的一些，这也要根据沙特最新的一些技术规格书来决定进行哪一些的测试。
So the best way is that to start a project, the best way is that you give the product specification brochure of your product, technical data sheet of your product to our experts in Shanghai, and they will check with us, with our expert team, that okay, for your product, it's coming under the scope of CITC approval or not. Because if your bandwidth and frequency is crossing the limit, of course, then other than the CITC, then of course it is not allowed. So the best way is that you send the documents of your product, we will review it and we will confirm you.
I will translate. 大家如果对于通讯类的产品有一些相关的需要，请先发相应的技术规格书给我们上海的 office， 我们也会进行解答，我们也会把相应的规格书发到沙特方面，为大家进行检查。因为沙特这边确实有一些频率限制的问题，也希望大家不要遇到麻烦。
Okay.
大家还有没有提问？
刚才提到那个频率限制的问题，因为我们公司是做那个影视闪光灯类的，它里面有用到一些那个射频方面的东西，所以公司常用的433和24或者是4G的，像这几块它有没有影响，或者说它有没有限制
？So he wants to know the limits of the Saso telecom products. So yeah, there are any limits in the frequency or the channel?
Of course, there are the limits for different products. I'm not that specific telecom expert to memorize those limits. So, but we have a CITC specification document. It's a complete catalog of CITC for each product, and in each brochure, in each CITC specification, the limit is defined. So, if he submit us his product specification, like I asked from the other client, so we can tell him that okay, if his product is coming under the limit or not.
您可以发邮件给我们，我们会根据您的产品找到相应的规格书，然后去回答您的问题。非常欢迎您对我们进行咨询。
I have a question about the CITC. For the requirement, you require document for the test report, for safety report, wireless report, and EMC report. So, do you require all of them, or do you require maybe one of that for one particular product?
Okay, for one model, we are requiring all these documents separately. So if you have a different, for example, if you have 10 models, so for 10 models, we are requiring the same documents separately.
I mean for the product, our company produces like wireless mic, like this one. So they use batteries, like 3-volt voltages. So for this kind of product, usually we don't have safety requirements for other countries. So normally we don't have a safety test report.
Okay, for LED products, low voltage directed products, up to 24 volts, there is a safety testing requirement. But for the product that you mentioned, we can check with CITC, and I think it can be exempted from the safety requirements.
Okay. So you have to like look up in your category and to see if we require all the report
Exactly.
one of that.
Yeah.
Okay. I have another. Sorry.
No problem.
对于相关的产品，就是没有落在 DDR 指定下的产品的话，大家也很难提供出测试报告。当然，根据具体产品，我们也会进行具体的查询，是否需要这一些报告。
I have another question about the high-risk product. You mentioned that like adapter, it has to be sealed for the shipment. So what if we put this adapter in our product set? The adapter is an accessory of our product system. So do you see that as a high-risk product?
Actually, what they mean here, adapter battery chargers, of course, which are used in different products. So they want what I mean is Saudi authorities want every shipment to be sealed and stamped for these products. Okay, so whenever you have a shipment, we can understand that maybe you have frequent shipments to Saudi Arabia, and maybe 100% sealing is not possible. We understand that. So we will look into the case. Maybe if we have a limited time, or allocated time from your side for the inspection. So what we can do is we can do random inspection, but at least the inspection cannot be skipped, because Saudi authorities would be very aggressive if they found your shipment of these products without sealing and stamping. So some evidence and proof of inspection must be there. Some proof of inspection must be there for these products. I understand 100% sometimes not possible, but maybe 30%, 50%, 70% inspection sealing has to be there.
对于高风险货物的封装的话，大家会提出，如果说我们出口量非常大，那我们莱茵在这边也会根据大家具体货物的出货量进行确定一个封装，可能我们进行50%。当然，封装是一定的，至于比例，我们可以根据货物的大小来进行判断。
I mean, for the adapters, we use it as accessories. Like we ship a wireless microphone to. So we have the adapter in the shipment, but we won't mention that maybe for the shipment. We only say that's a wireless microphone system, which we have the adapter inside. So do we need the seal for this?
So basically it's an external adapter, right?
Yeah,
it is accessory, but it is
external, but it's in the same package.
Yeah, so if it's external adapter and it's there inside the packing, of course your complete product is required for sealing. So what I'm saying is, inspection requirement can be reduced. Okay. For example, we will not take your 2 days or 3 days for complete inspection. Maybe we will do the random inspection. If your quantity is more, we will select it random products.
Thank you.
正如刚才哈先生所说的一样，我们会根据具体货物的量来决定封装，甚至决定相应检验的繁琐程度，这都是可以商量的。 So she wants to know the valid time of the CITC reports, such as the safety or the EFC or the telecom.
Let me understand. So what they want is that they want to apply for this testing of.
Yes.
Okay. So if you approach to Shanghai laboratory or our colleagues in Shanghai, they can do EMC and safety testing for you. I don't know what is their lead time exactly. They can tell you maybe 10 days, 15 days. So the approval process, the certification process, I explained in my other slide that it's 4 to 6 weeks time, okay, and it can be less also. But if you and that time is applicable when you have documents ready. If your documents are not ready and you want to apply for testing.
Sorry, Hassan, I have to interrupt you. She wants to know the valid time of the test report, such as the test report is issued by 2 years ago. Is it acceptable?
It's acceptable. For CITC, it's acceptable.
So for the CITC, the valid time is 3 years?
Up to 3 years, no problem.
Yes.
But for COC, it's not.
So for the telecom and EMC, the valid time is also 3 years?
Yes, no problem. CITC is lenient.
So there is one question on what report can we accept, such as he asked, we only accept the CB test report by TUV Rhine. I think it's no. We can accept many labs. Yes.
See, this is in this business. We don't look that okay, it's a competitor test report or this. As long as our competitor is even approved, we accept their test report. So there is a criteria of qualification of acceptance of the test report. So if test report is issued by approved laboratory, which is member of ELAC or having accreditation according to 17025, so we accept their test report. Whether it's a local China laboratory, as long as it's approved, we will accept it.
我们所注重的是这个报告是否在它的资质范围内，就是如同比如说在这一家是受到 CNAS 有认证，但是它在它的认证范围之内，比如说它只能出一些 software 产品，而它出了一个电器类的，那我们是不接受的。我们是着重于资质，而不是着重于是哪一家公司，是不是我们的竞争对手。So who want to raise question?
Good morning, Ms. Hassan.
Good morning.
I'm coming from HP Shanghai, and we are producing printers. My question is regarding to what kind of requirements do you know is applied to our product? Our product is an inkjet printer embedded with the module wireless module operating at 2.4 gigahertz. And I understand our product is applied to at least the safety and radio requirement. I don't know if our product is applied to some kind of EMC requirement for SASO.
Yeah, actually, if you are, because you have a printer with multifunction, I mean, it has maybe wireless component module inside, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, then it's coming under the scope of two approvals, which is one is CITC, the telecom approval, and the other approval is COC. Actually, for COC, you understand that it's only safety.
Yeah.
But for CITC, there are more testing requirements like EMC, RF testing, safety testing, and so on. So you have to have all these test reports in order to get approval from CITC.
So you mean our product is also regulated by CITC, and for EMC requirement, And it's pretty much weird to me that I searched our database, I cannot find any CITC certificates for our wireless module. And your slide, if you can go back to your slides referring to CITC standards, if you look at the third one, the radio requirement.
Okay. Maybe
Yeah. If you refer to radio standard,
yeah.
All the standards appears to me that they are referring to EMF and not radio. And
okay.
My question is that can you confirm that our wireless model operating at 2.4 gigahertz is surely required to test the radio?
Yeah, okay, sure, no problem. So the thing is that what we are requiring from your side is product specification of your product, okay, which is, the technical data sheet, and so that we can evaluate it according to the CITC specification. So we will match the frequency, we will match the bandwidth or any other requirement, and most likely, we have so many inquiries for printers with this module wireless function. So most likely your product is under the scope of CITC approval. So maybe the really exact applicable standard for your product we can only define when we have technical data sheet from your side.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are already shipping to Saudi Arabia before, or your first time you're planning?
Sorry?
You are already exporting to Saudi Arabia your product, or your first time you're applying?
We have a lot of modules certified by SASO, and we have an internet database and recorded all the related certificates, but I cannot find it very specifically for this one, CITC certificate. I cannot find any certificate.
So up to now you exported to Saudi Arabia to some importer and you did not face any problem in Saudi customs?
Sorry, I cannot understand your question.
Your products you exported to Saudi Arabia, right? Already?
Yeah. Yes, already.
So all these approved models, according to safety or any other test reports, Saudi customs did not ask for any type approval certificate or CITC certificate?
Yeah, we have a local agent, a local HP company in Saudi Arabia. I don't know what's going on there.
Okay. So I think it's better to have this approval in advance for your records, so that.
So I will translate. 关于这个问题，最主要是集中在于出口了带有无线功能的产品到了沙特以后，并没有被沙特政府所要 CITC 的文件。然后关于这一个问题，我们会进一步探讨，然后给您这个答复，是否需要这样一个测试。
So what I understand when I ask you this question, that maybe your importer is clearing this product with some channels. I do not know what could be the way to get this product entered in Saudi Arabia, but a company like HP, I would recommend that you keep these approvals in your database. Like you mentioned that you have all the necessary approvals, but you don't have CITC approval. So the best way is, you never know the future, that your importer will come up with a requirement and they'll say that, okay, my shipment is not clearing, so I need CITC approval. So it's better, this is the right time that you apply for this approval to be on safe side for future. Okay?
哈斯先生想说的是，如果在您的数据库当中没有相应的报告，很可能是您当地的代理就帮您做掉了这样一个动作，而且没有存在您的数据库里面。哈斯先生的建议也是在将来您可以掌控所有的文件，以便于您这边进行具体的操作。
So, just for all participants, that maybe very few know about this, that if a shipment in Saudi Arabia custom stuck more than 5 days, okay, it has some problem, it doesn't have the certificate or it doesn't have the COC, CITC, energy efficiency. If it stay there for more than 5 days, damage caused by Saudi customs is charged to the importer per hour, okay? And that's why most of the time your client, your importer would be very angry if you don't apply for all the approvals on time. So they will charge back you this cost. So
I will interrupt. 大家所不知道的是，如果说货物卡在沙特海关的话，进口商会被罚很多的钱，所以他们会非常的愤怒，是对于你这边没有准备足够的文件以便清关，所以这很重要。所以大家还有没有其他的问题进行提问？
have questions during the coffee break. We missed our coffee break, so already we are in the coffee break time. So if anybody has a specific question, they can come to me directly also. So let's have a quick coffee break for 5 minutes, right?
现在是休息时间，如果大家有具体的问题，可以单独和哈森先生进行对话。
10 minutes coffee break, right?
茶歇时间是10分钟，然后到25分，请大家准时回来，继续我们伊拉。
I hope you had a quick short break, right? Before I go into the another program of Iraq and Kuwait countries, we still can give like 5 minutes on Saudi Arabia program. Still, if somebody has any question remaining on Saudi Arabia's COC program, there were a lot of questions on energy efficiency and CITC, but very less questions on main certificate, which is COC, SASO certification.
哈德先生还给大家留了5分钟，解答刚才是否还有其他的问题。如果没有问题的话，那我们继续。
We can give like 5 minutes to Saudi Arabia program if anybody has question, because I know Saudi Arabia program is important for most of you. Iraq and Kuwait approvals are also important, but Saudi Arabia program is also of course very important.
所以再给大家留5分钟，请大家进行提问。
我来问一个，就是比较真正流说明比较具体的一个项目吧。是海尔空调的，主要是空调方面的问题。第一个就是那个能效提升，我们现在不是能效提升了吗？这个时间段，我想知道有没有一个具体的最新的那个表格。今年就是好像是5月23号分体机就是提高到11.5，就是说下一级就是什么时候再有一个提升，它这个时间有没有一个时间表格？再一个就是冷媒切换。冷媒切换的那个，目前得到的信息是分体机是15年的1月1号要切换冷媒，窗机是延迟了1年，是16年，这个是不是最准确的？还有就是我们做项目的时候，能效的标准是最新的，它那个电压是230伏，但是安全的标准没有更新。我们现在目前做测试是用220还是230？名牌如何标定？就是名牌标的时候是标220。还是说230，还是一个时间范围，那个电压范围。
She has asked many questions, so let's do it straight. So we want to apply for the SASO EER. So when we do the safety test, we use the normal voltage at 220. But when we do EER, we use the voltage of 230. So is it a problem?
So Saudi Customs normally issue comments on this particular issue. They accept the voltage between 220 to 240, but if it's better that the rating level should be of 227 volt, something like that. So if you are applying for this, just make sure that you in the test report there is no problem, but on the rating level it's better that you use 227 on your product.
哈姆先生回答是第一个问题是，您这边测试这样使用是没有问题的，但是在
not 227, 220 volt. Okay, 127 is of course I mean I mixed it with 127. So okay, so 220 on the rating level would be better. The rating between 220 to 240 is acceptable in the test report, there is no problem. But on the rating level, it's better that you use 220.
220. Yes. 在测试当中是没有问题，但是目前在标识方面仍然要用220。
名牌标注是220。
是的。
So after this presentation, we have a very specific document for the rating level and the rating requirements, deviation requirements, voltage, frequency, plug shapes. So I think we can give them this document.
Okay.
We can send you by email.
对对对，会后我们会给您一个标签的示范，来解释您的问题，就是标签如何进行标识。
应该是名牌，不是那个能上标签是吧？
对，我们会给一个具体的一个资料给您，没有问题。So on the second question, on the more strict in the energy efficiency, so we want to ask that is there any timetable for the split air conditioning, since we know the demand has increased year to year. So could you share to us?
The time splitting of what? I mean the
air conditioning.
The requirement is same for every product that is defined. I mean, it has to be according to the new standard. So there is no time limit that's also increased or, for the approval of the certificate. So if the product is tested according to the old standard, they have to apply with the new standard. There is no time limit extension or grace period. What I understand is a grace period that maybe she's asking. So there is no grace period for that.
Yes. 是主要还是按照沙特最新的标准来进行。如果有具体的问题，您可以发 email 给我们，来进行一个具体的回答。但是原则的精神还是要按照标准上面所规定的内容。So we want to ask you the last question on on what we use in the air conditioner, such as the R134, the air cooler. So,
sorry, 134 what?
So what is used in the air conditioner for cooling? The cooling.
The refrigerant gas.
Liquid. Yes.
Refrigerant gas.
Yes.
Okay. I think there was a separate letter from Ministry of Commerce. We can forward you the copy of that letter. Up to 2015, they allowed the R22 gas, I guess, right?
Yes.
123 and other gases after 2015, end of 2015, then they will strictly check. So up to end of, I'm not sure, I don't remember the exact date, but up to 2015 they allowed the current gas.
Oh yes. 我们会及时把相关的内容给更新给您这边的。如果有任何的变化，再得到官方的确实，我们会给您。
So we will send you this letter in which Ministry of Commerce and Ministry of Environment, they define the date, that up to this date, the current gas is allowed in the air conditioners.
我们会把相关的政府的证明信给您这边的，就是。
I will send you by email. We will send you.
我们会通过 email 来发给您，欢迎您这里提问，然后我们会包括所谓先前的6星和7星的问题都没有问题，您可以向我们提问，我们有确切的官方的消息会回答给您，回答一个官方的答复，好吧？谢谢。
Okay. Any other question? Already, I think we have to start. Then maybe Rheinland will put on. Okay, she has question. See you soon.
之前是220，现在是230的话，它是因为他们法规上有改变，还是什么原因
？So she wants to know the change of the voltage from the 220 to 230. So why this changes? Is it because of the law?
I think it's still 220. It's not 230.
Yes.
Okay, so there is no change. Only thing is that the voltage between 220 to 240 is acceptable. Okay, the rating, the voltage between 220. Sometimes manufacturers write 220 to 240, right? This is acceptable. But on the rating level of the product, it's better that you write 220. Okay, SASO will not fail it. If you write 220 to 240, still there is no problem. So by the end of this presentation, we have one very specific document which we prepare for our clients, defining voltage requirements, plug requirements, frequency requirements. So I think we can send this to all our clients. So from that you can take the reference that what is the exact voltage requirement for Saudi Arabia.
Yes. 我们会有具体的针对于沙特的一些偏差的要求，然后也会发给每个客户，包括所有的插头的要求、电压要求，包括基础温度，这我们都会把相应文件发给您这边，也欢迎您向我们这边索要。
Okay, we will send it to all clients. The deviation requirements for Saudi Arabia.
我们会把沙特的国家偏差发给大家，如果大家有兴趣的话，可以进一步进行询问。
Any other question on COC, energy efficiency, or SASO certification?
大家关于沙特方面还有没有任何的问题？ So can we move to Iraq?
Iraq and Kuwait program. Okay.
Yes.
So, not as bigger as Saudi Arabia program, but still very important markets, Kuwait and Iraq.
虽然伊拉克不像沙特那么大，但也是一个非常充满机遇的地方。
So first we will discuss about the Iraq program. Okay, so we have some quick introduction, country introduction, program objective and activities, why our customer need this certificate, regulated products, certification requirements, technical country regulations, process flow, and the fee structure. Okay.
我们会介绍伊拉克认证的方方面面，也希望能够帮助大家了解到伊拉克认证的流程。
So, like SASO in Saudi Arabia, there is a authority called COSQC. Okay, that authority is controlling this program for Iraq Certificate of Conformity.
像沙特一样，伊拉克也有一个质量监管局管理进入伊拉克产品的诸多事宜。Yes.
Okay. So similarly, like Saudi Arabia, this Iraq authority is also requiring certificate of conformity to be exported with every shipment that you're sending to Iraq.
和沙特一样，伊拉克也需要 COC 证书，而且是每一次出货的时候都需要这个证书。
So purpose of this program is that, of course, that protecting the public against the substandard products that can endanger public health, safety, and environment. Of course, all these Middle East programs are usually concerned with the safety.
伊拉克证书更注重于安全方面的认证。
Okay, so one of the main reasons is, of course, to control the counterfeited products and fake products entering in the market.
这个监管有助于避免买到假冒的产品，包括是伪劣的产品。
So to, of course, increase the faster clearance process, and then, of course, the quality of the goods to be verified, and that the products that are entering in Iraq are compliant to the Iraq standard requirements or not.
这个的话非常有助于大家有这样证书，有利于大家清关。
So, as a service provider, what we are requiring from our side is, of course, the physical inspection in the country of supply as necessary. We do inspection. We do sampling. If your product is not tested, okay, then we can take the samples for testing. Factory audits, we review your quality process. Okay, we do the audits. Then certificate of conformity issuance, of course, and then inspection at the border. So these are some general requirements for Iraq program that authorities sometimes do these processes, and we also do these factory audits from our side.
这一些是伊拉克标准局常用的监管手段，包括大家可以看到，在必要时对产品进行抽样，包括工厂检查以及边境的检查。
So, of course, this certificate is very important for you as a client, that you apply for this certificate, and don't think of sending your shipment without this certificate. It would be a huge problem if you send it without the certificate.
进口到伊拉克，请大家不要在没有 COC 符合性证书的情况下，这会引起很大的麻烦。Yes.
So yeah, it's of course like it's mentioned that if you send this shipment without COC, your shipment will be returned back to the nearest country, and inspection is performed, and samples will be taken from your shipment. So one certificate may be small cost, so don't save this cost. Apply for this certification, because if you don't apply for this certification, there would be a lot of problems at the Iraq border, and maybe you will think that okay, I will not ship to Iraq anymore.
请大家不要为了节省一个 COC 证书的钱而造成巨大的损失，这样也是得不偿失的。
Okay, major export markets to Iraq. Of course, China on the top. A lot of goods are coming from China to Iraq. You have Iraq market is very strong because after the U.S. war, it's rebuilding, reconstruction market. I mean, so you have a lot of potential, a lot of customers are there in Iraq. So you can export your goods, and you can, of course, then when you are exporting the goods, then you are applying for the certification. So these are the countries from where usually Iraq is importing.
大家可以看到，伊拉克是一个在重建中的国家，所以说会带来非常多的商机。
So there are 12 categories in Iraq program which are regulated. So in Saudi Arabia program and compared to Iraq program, there is a difference. In Iraq program, authority define these products, that these are the only regulated products that can be shipped to Iraq.
与沙特不同，伊拉克定义出哪些是监管的产品。
And these are the exempted products, that these products are not coming under the scope of this certification.
大家可以看到，以下这种产品并不在认证的范围之内。
So these products are requiring special approval.
大家也可以看到，这些产品进入伊拉克也需要一些特准，也是特殊的许可。当然，大家有相关的问题也可以发邮件给我们，我们会给大家做出及时的解答。Yes.
So the certification procedure, how we start when you have a shipment ready or you're planning your product export to Iraq. So the process is that there are 5 major steps that we are requiring from you. So we are requiring declaration of conformity from you. Okay. I think when you contact Shanghai office, they can give you this form, that in what format we are requiring this declaration. The final shipment invoice with HS code. The quantity documents like test reports, analysis report. So test report can be internal test report as long as your laboratory is qualified according to these standards.
I will translate.
Yeah.
关于申请表，大家可以问上海 office， 当然其他 office 也可以去索要。关于测试报告，我们想说的是，包括内部的测试报告，我们也是可以接受的，但是前提是基于它有相关的资质认证，包括17025。Yes.
Okay. So I think you explained it, that if manufacturer test reports are acceptable as long as they have this kind of regulation. Okay.
Yes.
If they don't have, then they have to apply for third party laboratory.
如果说相关
difference.
如果说相关制造商没有相关能力的话，建议大家到第三方进行申请。Yes.
Okay. So the testing of the product must be performed at 2 Rheinland laboratories or in a third-party accredited lab. Okay. Having the capabilities of performing the test on the product if there is no internal test report. So like I mentioned in my previous slide, if there is no internal test report, then of course it has to be applied in the third-party lab.
正如所说的一样，必须要有一个合格的测试报告才是可以的。
So internal test report criteria is also written, which I mentioned in the previous slide, that if the manufacturer has this ISO certification, so their test report will be acceptable.
正如之前所说的一样，如果说内部测试报告不是有效的话，那就是不可以被接受的。
So normally we prefer to do inspection for every shipment, but if during the inspection process we analyze that your quality goods your goods are complying to the requirements of the standards and the country regulations, so we reduce this inspection. So it can be random inspection, but at the beginning we want to do 100% inspection.
当然，验货根据不同工厂的质量，我们会进行评估，也会有减免。当然，这是要视情况而定的。
So Iraq authority is basically requiring a copy of this report from us when we do this inspection. So it's not like that we are pushing the customer to do 100% inspection. It's a Iraq authority requirement that we submit these reports to them.
我们当然建议大家做100%的验货，因为这样也是伊拉克政府所希望的。
Okay, so if the documents in the previous slide, if they are complying to the requirements, then we issue the certificate. But if the product is not complying to the requirements, then we issue the NCR, non-conformity report.
如果说相关的报告不符合要求的话，我们会签发不符合报告，这也非常严重。Yes.
So before I go to the next slide, just want to ask a quick question that if among the participants already some of you are exporting to Iraq or most of you are new for Iraq market?
在此哈森先生想问的是，大家是否已经有出口产品到伊拉克，还是还没有进入伊拉克的市场呢？
So all are new for Iraq market, or some of you are already know about Iraq market?
有出口到伊拉克经验的，请举手。
Almost all are new. Looks to me. You are exporting already to Iraq. Okay. Okay, you are also two. So rest of the participants are new for Iraq market. So it's a big market, Iraq market. So think about it.
Yes.
Okay, so we issue the non-conformity report that okay, unsatisfactory inspection report, maybe the test report is not complying with the Iraq standards. So let me explain here that Iraq program has specifically Iraq standards, and its test report is always according to Iraq standards for the regulated products, not like Saudi Arabia program.
必须强调的是，伊拉克的报告必须按照伊拉克的标准进行，必须体现相关的偏差要求。Yes.
Okay, whether it's internal report or the external report, the standards must be Iraqi standards.
不管是内部还是外部的报告，必须都用伊拉克的标准。Yes.
So, of course, then there is some verification at the border also. That we have, the authorities also verifying doing the border inspection. I mean, it is done also through our agent. So we do this inspection for you at the border also. So there is two inspection criteria. One is before shipping the goods, and there is one inspection that is required according to the Iraq authority at the border.
所以说，在伊拉克会有2个检验，和沙特不一样，也就是装船前的检验，还有边境的检验，这是完全不一样的。
So that inspection we also do. We check the condition of the shipment. We check the consistency between the COC and import documentation. It's a requirement by the Iraq authority. So we do this inspection at the border also.
所以我们在边境是要做相关检查，包括检查是否一致性，是 COC 和货物，包括会进行 伊拉克海关要求开箱的货，我们进行更细致的检查。
So when we do this verification, we do this inspection, then we give this COC and these documents to the customs.
所以说，除了 COC 之外，我们还会提供另一份文件帮助客户去清关。
So this is some quick overview. I think it could be for your records. It's a country deviation requirement, specific country regulations for Iraq program. So like voltage, ambient temperature requirements, tropical temperature requirements, marking labeling requirements of English Arabic. So I think you can.
以上是伊拉克的国家差异。当然，我们具体到验货当中会有一些验货要求书，大家也可以和验货部门进行沟通。包括一些伊拉克具体标准，也可以向我们市场进入部门进行咨询，这都是没有问题的。Yes.
So some quick overview about the overall process. It's more or less the same. That applicant prepared the documents. We do the document check. We again check if the testing is applicable. If you already have the test report, that you are already ready for the certification process. If you don't have the test report, then we have to do the testing.
所以说与沙特不同的是，大家必须注意关于测试是否成功，包括验货是否会失败，这都很重要，所以大家千万要记住这一点。
There is one difference compared to Saudi Arabia program that here we issue the NCR report also. That if your product is not compliant, then we issue the non-conformity report. So then you have to correct your product according to this.
所以大家千万要记住，如果说有两者不合格的话，我们可是会发不合格的报告，这样也会引起很大的问题。
So for Iraq program, the fee is fixed by the Iraq authority, and basically this is your shipment value, and then applicable fee according to that. So this is a fixed criteria of the certification. This pricing is fixed for certification, but for inspection and testing, it's a separate cost.
所以大家可以看到，这个价格是由伊拉克政府所定的，是固定的。当然，其中包含了发证费和验货费。Yes.
This is the fee by cost QC, but the testing and inspection is separate from this.
这个是伊拉克质量监督局规定的费用，当然测试费是不包括在内的。
And this is in, of course, in the. Okay.
当然提醒大家，这个是美金。
RFP or yuan. Okay. Okay. So this is the fee structure for the inspection at the Iraq border. Okay. So this is also defined by the authority.
大家可以看到，在边境检查也会产生一部分的费用，然后这也是价目清单。
The above mentioned fees are on net of checks, and please note down these points also. The particular value of the shipment is value of the goods without insurance and freight charges.
我们这边的收费也是非常公开的，其中我们也标出了哪些是扣除的项目。
So that's all for the Iraq program. Okay. I understand that most of you are new for Iraq market, but let me tell you, other than Saudi Arabia, there is a very, very good potential for you as a manufacturer for Iraq market. The regulations are also not very complicated. You contact please to Rheinland Shanghai office, and they will guide you for all the requirements. If you are a new exporter, still no problem. Still we can guide you.
所以 TUV 来英上海可以成为大家很好的向导，包括进入伊拉克的市场。大家也可以向我这边提出询问。
So any questions on the Iraq program?
所以给大家一个简短的提问环节，大家对伊拉克认证有什么问题吗？
Maybe at the last or.
如果说没有问题的话，那我们把提问环节并入到下一个环节，等我们讲好科威特认证以后。Yes. Yes.
You can continue. Okay.
Continue.
So let's talk about now the last Middle East program for today, that is Kuwait program. It is almost 80 to 90% as same as Saudi Arabia program in terms of test report requirements. So you can explain this to me.
我们先来讲科威特认证。当然，大家知道科威特认证和沙特认证几乎80%都是非常相似的，只有一些国家偏差，可能有一些不一样。
Okay. Yes. So we discussed about the authorities in all three programs. In Saudi Arabia, it was SASO. In Iraq, it was QC, and in Kuwait, it's QCAS. Okay. So this is in Kuwait, it's PAI, Public Authority. So the program itself name is QCAS. Okay.
大家都可以看到每一个国家都会有相关的监管机构，包括有这个国家监管项目的名称。Yes.
Okay. So basically, in Iraq and Saudi Arabia program, we talk about COC. Here, Iraq authority call it TIR, Technical Inspection Report.
我们在沙特和伊拉克当中提到的都是 COC， 但是在这里我们提到的是 TIR。
But it's the same. Format is different. Certificate is nearly the same.
虽然形式不一样，但是实质是一样。
Okay. So how many of you are already exporting to Kuwait market?
所以还是老问题，大家有没有出口到科威特方面的经验呢？如果有的话，请举手。好，谢谢。
You're exporting to Kuwait, okay? Only, and anybody else?
是否有其他人呢？
You are exporting to Kuwait, okay? My question is, you're exporting directly from China, or you're exporting from China to Middle East, UAE, and then UAE to Kuwait?
所以我们的问题是，大家是直接出口到科威特的，还是经过阿联酋转口的呢？
Directly exporting.
或者是从中东其他国家转口的，就不一定是阿联酋，也可以是约旦啊这些国家。
Directly to Kuwait, I guess.
I guess.
Directly to Kuwait? From China to Kuwait, or from UAE to Kuwait? Or from Middle East to Kuwait?
So
the two clients, the two.
所以我觉得大家是不是直接都是把货物直接出口到科威特，从中国到科威特呢？是这样吗
？Okay, sure.
So let's.
Okay. So one difference in Kuwait program is that compared to Iraq and Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait there is 100% inspection for every shipment. This is a specific requirement in Kuwait program.
与沙特和伊拉克不同的是，科威特是100%没有豁免的，必须要验货。Yes.
Okay. So when we test the product or when we verify the product for the shipment, we also issue TER. NOR report shall be issued. Okay. So its validity will be decided based on the manufacturer risk profile according to PI approved risk assessment system. Okay, so there is a registration requirement also by PI authority.
所以说，大家可以看到有一些非常规的产品也必须从出货产品或生产线进行测试，然后测试通过后颁发 TER。
Normally it's a 3 years validity, but Iraq authority we register the products in system defined by the authority. And they can decide or they can question any time that okay, if they don't accept any test report or it's not, they think it's not compliant to the requirement, so they can issue the notification any time that okay, this has to be tested again.
所以说，由于当局决定的关系，通常有效期是3年，但是有时候可能会被调整。
Okay, so during there is also random sampling process in Kuwait program, so. They can also draw the samples anytime for testing.
当然，他们也有风险评估体系，他们随时保留抽样的权利。
Okay. So these are the general categories for Kuwait program where they're defining the 6 groups that electrical toys, household, automotive, chemical, others, and building materials. So these products are coming under the scope of TIR certification.
大家可以看到产品分为6类，这6类产品都是受到管制的。
Okay. So how we do the registration? So this slide is basically defining the registration process when you want to export to Kuwait.
大家可以看到这一页是讲如何进行注册的，是相关一些需要的文件。
Okay, so these are the documents that we are requiring for registration.
这就是所需要的文件。
So you see the validity safety test report according to Kuwait, GSO or IEC EN standard. The requirement is more or less the same as Saudi Arabia program.
其实大家可以看到和沙特的要求都非常相似。
Okay.
Yes.
So if a test report is available according to the Kuwaiti standards, then normally no further testing is required.
所以大家可以看到，如果说有经过科威特经过我们核准是可以适用的报告的话，一般是不需要做进一步测试的。
So if we summarize all 3 programs for the test report requirement, so only Iraq program has the requirement of internal test report acceptance, that we accept internal test report in Iraq program. But in Saudi Arabia program for safety products, the test report from third party is mandatory.
所以说大家可以看到，对于内部出的报告的话，接受程度是不一样的。这目前也就伊拉克接受有内部出具的测试报告。Yes.
So we have special procedures. For all these 6 product categories that we define, we have the CVG documents. We verify your product according to these guidelines defined by PAI, and then we issue the test report or COC.
当然，我们这边是有标准的流程书来进行科威特测试，包括验货的过程。Yes.
Okay. So, like we mentioned before, that the testing can be according to IEC or EN standard, but the national deviation requirements are different in every country. For example, in Saudi Arabia, the frequency is 60 Hertz, but in Kuwait it's 50 Hertz. So IEC EN standard test report is acceptable in both programs, but the 10% requirement is of the voltage, frequency, plug configuration, ambient temperature marking requirement is different in every country.
大家可以看到，对于伊拉克、沙特来说都可以接受 IEC 报告，但是有10%的差异。那差异在哪里呢？就在于电压、频率，包括对于沙特来说，它接受的是60赫兹，而在伊拉克就是50赫兹，相应的插头要求，包括环境温度一些标识都会有一些差异。Yes.
Okay. So some highlights on the inspection requirements. So like at the beginning of the presentation, we mentioned that inspection is a mandatory requirement for Kuwait program. So following documents we are requiring at the time of inspection. So application form, instruction manual, shipping details, shipping invoice, packing list. So we will do this inspection every time.
所以大家可以看到，在验货前，大家必须提供这些文件，以便于我们进行验货。
So inspection can be done at the port or can be done at your warehouse as per your flexibility.
对于大家来说，以大家的方便，在装运港和工厂都可以进行出货前的检验。
So again, the main purpose of the inspection is the national deviation requirements that we mentioned in the previous slide.
所以主要测试的目的是体现出科威特的国家差别，即这些产品有没有遵守这些国家差别。
Okay. So we do the inspection. If necessary, we do the testing, and then we issue this TIR. This is the certificate format of the Kuwait program. Okay. So it can be issued when you fulfill all the requirements.
大家可以看到，以上是科威特证书的一个样本。当大家符合了所有科威特要求以后， 大家就可以获得我们莱茵出具的 COC 证书。
This is a mistake, huh? It's a quiz. Okay.
这个是一个小小的笔误，应该写的是科威特。
So quick summary. Preparation of the documents, document check. Again, we see if you already have the test report, we don't ask you for more testing. We accept your test reports.
所以说，如果说大家是有测试报告的，我们检查下来是确认无误的话，我们并不需要有进一步的测试要求。
So this we upload after we verify the documents. We upload it in the Kuwait authority system also.
当我们完成文件审核的话，我们也会将相应的文件上传到公用的数据库中。
Yes. So after shipment verification, we complete all the steps and then we issue the certificate TIR for your shipments.
所以走完所有流程，我们将发 TIR 证书，大家也可以理解出成 COC 证书，从实质上是一样的，只是名称不一样而已。Yes.
Yes, thank you. So basically, we covered 3 programs: Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Kuwait. So there are other important markets in the world for China manufacturers. We understand that, but there is always a high requirement of the products imported to Middle East countries. The business that you can have in the Middle East countries, you cannot have in the other European countries. So it's always the highest importing country, all these Middle East countries. So if you want to have a complete testing and certification solution for all these programs, you are at the right door, you are at the right step. You are just contact to Rheinland Shanghai, and they have all the solutions for you, not only for these countries but also for the other countries in a very cost-effective way.
对于中东各国来说，要求差异非常纷繁复杂。大家来到 TUV 莱茵上海就是找对了地方，可以为大家提供一站式的服务，化繁为简。
So we will try to, of course, the most important for us is your cost and your time. So when you approach to different companies, they all have maybe different procedures. But of course, we fully understand that the successful is the company who has the best procedure, which is saving your time and cost. So we always have a best solution for you for all these programs.
对于认证的生命来说，费用和时间是很关键的。我们也了解到这一点，我们相信我们会比我们竞争对手做得更好，理解到客户对于时间和费用的考量。
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, and of course, time for any questions and answers. If you face any problem in Kuwait regulations or Iraq program, you can ask your questions now.
所以希望大家对我们进行提问，因为我这边也知道最近伊拉克方面也有新的一些动态，大家也可以向我们提问。
我是商务控股集团有限公司的，来自泰州。我在公司里面负责产品开发跟产品认证这一块。这次来 TUV 参加这次的研讨会，最主要我是想了解一下，我们的碎纸机产品以后销往中东跟那个拉丁美洲的一些要求。在这次会议上，早上老师给我们讲了很多东西。特别是关于那个中东认证这一块，因为这一块是后续我们那个产品营销的一个重点的一个研发方向。这次会议上，我们了解了一个他们认证的一个流程要求等等，我感觉这是受益非常大。谢谢。
大家好，我是赵丽华，来自松下能源无锡有限公司。那么我们公司主要生产镍氢锂离子电池。那么我和贵公司呢有这个业务的来往，主要是电池的一个 CB 认证项目。那么目前呢，我们有跟贵司有合作，同时呢，我们有这个亚洲国家，就是中东以及北美、南美一些 这个业务往来。那么，其实目前呢，我们对于中东以及南美一些这个认证呢不是很清楚。那正好就通过这次的这个学习吧，就是了解了这个中东和南美的一些认证这个要求吧。希望以后和贵司有一个好的合作。
我的名字叫 Ricky 刘，我中文名叫刘希，我来自苏州马街。我们是隶属于那个霍尼韦尔集团。因为我们目前的产品比较多，然后霍尼韦尔一直在收购那个其他的一些公司，然后有很多不同的类别的产品需要转移到我们那个苏州工厂来生产，所以然后这些生产也需要那个出口到全球不同的一些国家，所以我们在业务这一块有必要了解一下我们所有全球的一些国际认证这方面的一个学习所以我们本次也2个同事过来参加一些这方面的培训，然后通过今天的培训，我们也学习到比较多的一些知识，包括中东地区，因为中东地区我们目前在英国这一块有相关的产品，有涉及到中东，特别是沙特阿拉伯这一块的那个业务要求，然后这一块我们目前有了解比较多，所以后续我们有这一块的问题也会及时联系那个 TUV 这边。然后关于那个其他，比如说拉丁美洲，因为我们那个产品也是需要卖到全球各个国家，所以我们也需要学习拉丁美洲，所以这一块的话对我们收获也比较多。基本上这样吧，谢谢。
大家好，我是张薇，然后英文名字薇文，我来自昆山三丰有电电子影业公司。我们公司主要是生产电源线，就是主要供应客户终端产品就是家电类的。然后我们大概需要公司有大概认证单位大概有16、17个，都是我们自己处理的，直接跟认证单位相联系。我们的终端产品主要销往日、美、欧三大类。然后我这边今天过来，就是因为我们客户这边要申请墨西哥认证，所以就是我们有产品送到他那边去接受他们的那个承认吧。然后所以说可能后续需要申请墨西哥认证。然后据我了解，然后TUV 这边就有墨西哥 TUV 分公司，所以这边想了解一下，然后有可能后续有合作，这样。